geometry. So we are starting at the beginning of 3. This is 3.1, pairs of angles and lines. Okay, I'm going to break this into 2 different ones. So we're just starting with some ways to tell how lines are related. And we've talked a little bit about perpendicular. You won't see it too much with this. All right, we're going to focus on parallel. Okay, parallel is all important in geometry. So 2 coplanar lines, so 2 lines that are in the same plane, 2 coplanar lines that never intersect are parallel. So they never touch, ever. And we use arrows to show that. So you'll see arrows that look like this often, where they're filled in. I have a tendency of doing arrows like this because it's a little easier for me to not have to fill it in. It takes a little less time. The symbolic notation for this, we have AB is 1 line segment, and we have CD is another one, and then we do these vertical lines in between them. That means parallel right there. Now we can also have planes that are parallel. And they are planes that never intersect. All right, they never touch, they never intersect. So planes J and K are parallel like that. And remember, we name planes with just that singular letter, right? Singular capital letter. So if you don't have perpendicular and you don't have parallel, there is a third kind of line that you will sometimes have. And they are called skew lines. All right, they are called skew. It's a fun word, great Scrabble word. And they are 2 non-coplanar lines that never intersect. All right, here's what I mean by that. This front right here, TPQU, that's a plane. We would only use 3 letters to name it, so we would call it TUQ, right? But that whole front side is a plane. So that means TP and UQ are coplanar. That means PQ and UQ are coplanar. That means TU and TP are coplanar, right? Any 2 of those points make a line that is coplanar to the other one. They are all in the same plane. Don't take a second to let that sink in. Right? They're all coplanar. TP, PQ, QU, UT. They're all coplanar. So we want 2 that are not coplanar. That means they have to not be fully in the same plane. So that would be, for example, TP and QR. I'm going to highlight them so we can see that, okay? So I'm going to do TP in this green here, and then I'm going to do QR in kind of a pink. So you see how TP is off on the side like this, and then QR is like this, right? They never touch. They never touch. But they're also not in the same plane, right? That's skew. So it's this kind of weird thing. And when you have like house plans, you'll see that a lot with like certain pipes and things. They're skew. You've got one that's going up and you've got one that's running over here in a wall. They're skew, they never touch. So TP and QR. Now there are more lines that are skew to TP besides that one, where they never intersect. Another one would be TP and SR, or TP and WV, or TP and UV, right? All of those are skew to TP. So now let's switch our brains a little bit, and let's look at TU. So we've got TU up here. We want to pick out a line that is skew to it, so it doesn't intersect it and it's not in the same plane. TU is in the same plane as VW. It's even in the same plane as SR, so those don't work. And it's in the same plane as PQ. So TU would be skew to VR, right? We'd have this guy up here, and then we'd have this guy kind of like that. So VR would work. Another one that would work would be TU and QR. QR would work. WS would work, TU and WS, or TU and SP. So I'm just going to pick SP now, because why? And then the last one, we've got SP here. So it's this guy right there. We want one that is skew to it. Well, because it's this guy, UQ would be skewed to it. VR would be skewed to it. So let's just go with VR, because why not? So again, we've got kind of the horizontal like this, and then we've got this guy in the back behind it where they never touch. I know it's weird having to think three-dimensionally like this, but builders, construction, anything like that, this is what they do. They think three-dimensionally. So let's do some examples together. I want to tell you now that there are extra examples in my notes. Okay, there are extra examples. So feel free to check these out. But let's do some of these together. So we want to start by naming all segments that are parallel to, oh, it didn't print, bother. Well, let's just pick out DA, all right? So we've got DA right here. That's the one that we're going to focus on is DA. We want everything that's parallel to it. So for our purposes, we're going to assume that this is like a box, all right? We're going to assume that this is a box. That way we don't have to worry about weird angles. So we're just going to say everything's 90. Everything's 90. We're just going to make it all rectangles and squares and stuff. Rectangles in particular. So we've got DA here. If this side of the box is one side, right? That side right there with EH, D, and A, that's one plane. So EH would be parallel to it. EH would be parallel to it. And then there's a bottom right here, right? This ADC plane. So CB would be parallel to it too. And then this is the weird part. There's actually a plane that goes through it horizontally that would connect AD with FG, right? Can you kind of see that there's that plane there? That you could cut it that way? So our last one is going to be FG. Okay, so now we need to know which plane is parallel to, and we're going to start with EHD. So EHD is this plane right here. Which plane is parallel to it? So never touches it, never intersects it. Well, that means this front, bottom, the back side, and the top side all touch it. They all intersect. So there's only one plane that never touches it, and that would be FBC or FGC or CBF. So I'm just going to go with plane CBF, right? So we've got one side here, we've got another side here. Those are parallel. All right, the next one is AEF. So it's that front side. Can you see that? It's the front side here, AEF. It's that front side of the box. What plane is parallel to it? Well, the right side, left side, bottom, and top all touch it, which means the only plane that would be parallel would be the back side. And the back side would be HGC. So plane HGC. Or DHG or GCD, right? You can name it many different ways. The last one on here says name all segments skew to, and let's go with DA again. All right, skew to DA. So ones that never intersect it, but aren't parallel either. Well, we already know that EH, CB, and FG are parallel, so we can't name those as skew. So if we've got DA here that's like this, FB would be one that's skew, right? So we could go with FB for one of them. GC would be another one that is skew. GC would be another one that's skew. EF right here would be skew, right? Because it's on the top, it never intersects. And then in the back there, HG would be another one that is skew. All right. So let's try our second example down here. This is actually a pentagonal prism. We want to name all segments there to MR. Okay, so here is our MR right here. All right, all segments there are parallel to MR. Well, that would be SN, right? SN. It would be OJ. OJ. It would be KP. And it would be LQ. Right? It would be all of those. It would be all of those. All right, the next one that we want is name all segments parallel to JK. So JK is right here. Now you might be thinking that like ML might be parallel, but it's a pentagon, right? So it's not like a rectangle that has parallel sides. So ML or NM, it won't work. But there is a rectangle in this, JOPK. So here's our little side. Which one is our other little side? This one right back here, OP. OP is the only thing that is parallel to it. The next one says, name a plane that is parallel to plane JKL. So that means this whole front side. We want to know the plane that is parallel to it. Well, each of these sides of our pentagonal prism right here, MRQ, LQP, each of those is touching our front. So the only side that will be parallel to it is that back side, right? This back side right here. So let's name that plane. Again, many ways to name it. I'm going to choose to name it SRQ. And then the last one is name 4 segments skew to MR. All right, we want 4 segments that are skew to MR. Not parallel, but they also don't ever intersect. So with MR right here, a skew segment would be LK, right? Because we've got this guy and then there's this guy. Another one would be NJ or JN, right? Over here, NJ. We could also have OP, that guy. And we could even have SO. In fact, you can name at least 2 more, but I only said to do 4. So there are those ones. Hopefully you're feeling pretty good about parallel and skew. I know it's a little weird, but it is really important, especially the parallel lines. They're never going away. Never. Email me if you have questions. Skills Practice is posted to Big Ideas.